Hello there, this is Alien. Welcome to my Kiesel review. I'll really try to be unbiased, and even though I said that I was a Kiesel fanboy now, that doesn't, exclude them and save them from any critique. So I'll just try to be as blunt as possible. So first things first, it took exactly 9 weeks for this one to come, and that was extremely fast because estimated arrival date or completion date was actually right about now, so mid-September, and I've had it for nearly 1.5 months. So that is amazing. And this one, the top, it looks very complicated and intricate, but it wasn't done by Kiesel themselves. This was from California woods, a dyed stabilized top. There's no resin here. This is why you can have the beautiful arm cut bevel. And basically they just used this top. I mean, sure, they had to fill the holes of the Buckeye burl here and so on, and they clearly did a lot of work to it, and as well as just make it smooth all around, book match it and all that. So there was quite a bit of work involved, but it's not their top, so they didn't do the coloring. And yeah, other than that, I mentioned most of the specs in my unboxing video, so just refer to that. Regarding craftsmanship, my first one wasn't quite perfect. I would say 4.7 out of 5, because there was a dust particle under the finish, under the clear coat. Then where the 5-way selector switch is, there were some parts that weren't finished properly, and then there were 2 scratches on the fingerboard, minor, but still, it wasn't perfect, but amazing nonetheless. So I've been very happy with my Kiesel ST300, and that's of course why I decided to get yet another one, this time with the acoustic saddles, which I'll get to in either the next bit or in the next video. So this one is not quite perfect either, but it's damn near close. I mean, there's this tiny little speck here, or it's like, it seems that even though it should be aqua there, I may include a photo, it's still sort of clear. It's, minuscule at best, and actually fits quite nicely because there's a cream part in the burl figuring there, so it's sort of like a mirroring effect and works nicely. The 5-way selector switch cavity has been done perfectly this time around, and I think there is like this tiniest little thing underneath here, but once again you have to really look to see it. Other than that, yeah, one other thing. So regarding the fingerboard, what I thought, and I've heard 2 other recent Kiesel owners mention that there were scratches in the fingerboard, and I think that the gold frets, they weren't really polished as nicely as they probably should have been, and yeah, that's just something. And I believe, was there a scratch? There was something, but again, it's nothing major and everything works beautifully. One thing about the gold hipshot Kiesel trim, and that's on Hipshot's part really. The gold plating apparently is rubbed off very easily. So after a week of, you know, not even really touching it much, it was already showing parts of the chrome underneath or the silver underneath. So I put adhesive tape on top of it to protect it from further deterioration. And yeah, that's really on Hipshot's part. It's a very thin 24K plating, and that's clearly not doing the job. It should be more heavy duty. So hopefully Hipshot will remedy that in the future. But I believe that with an adhesive tape it works just as well, and it's a great trem. So tuning stability has been very good, and I haven't even lubed the nuts yet, so I think I haven't, but I haven't had any problems yet, so that's been great. Craftsmanship overall is just, you know, damn near perfect, as previously mentioned. I ordered an extra light Swamp Ash body, and I don't know, I still find it a little bit heavy, but that may have to do with the fact that it's a neck-through guitar, and both maple as well as purple heart are heavy woods, and they go all the way, so that definitely contributes to the overall heaviness of the guitar. And it is lighter than my older body ST300 by quite a bit. Actually, I like this weight. It's not as light as my bolt-on RG, which is also a swamp ash, or at least ash, in terms of the body wood. But it's you know, it's not light, but it's all right. I'm not sure it warranted the $100 upcharge for the extra light piece, because it's hard to compare, right? You would have to buy two identical guitars with the same features, because I'm sure the acoustic saddles also add some weight. And the tremolo, this tremolo is definitely heavier due to the block, the bigger block inside, compared to the ST300. So there are so many factors that you have to really take into account here, right? But overall, I'm happy with the weight. It's not light, but it's not, oh my gosh, this is crazy heavy either. It's fine, you know. So I'm not sure about the upcharge there, but it's hard to say. Regarding the fingerboard, which is also a master grade and was a $200 upcharge, so whilst the figuring is really amazing in most areas, there is, I think, here we are, yeah, this is it. So there, you know, there's not much going on, so I don't know if it's really master grade. It's hard to say. There could be more going on in this section, in my opinion, but it's damn, you know, amazing, really. It's just nearly perfect. It's just this little portion. So I'm not sure. Again, you have to compare to the $100 upcharge, the regular ones, and then the master grade with each other, because each one is going to be unique anyways. As you know, it's wood, and therefore you can't really control how many bird's eyes they're going to be. So I think it's a great piece, and I'm happy with it. Could it be better? A little bit, you know. But again, it's pretty cool. The Swamp Ash back, you know, came out really nicely with the antique ash treatment, and then the arc on top. It just really makes the grain pop, and it gets this sort of silken characteristic, and yeah. So everything else is pretty darn amazing. Yeah, there were some light scratches on the gold hardware, which really should have been, you know, taken care of before shipping out. Also, the gig bag was a little dirty on the front pouch, and I've seen that on several unboxings as well. So maybe they should look into that a little bit. But overall, I'm super happy. This is an amazing guitar, and playability is amazing. Yeah, it's weird because, you know, the woods look different, even though it's also bird's eye maple and then also the 5-piece maple purple hardneck. I have the same on my ST300, but because it's a new guitar and the woods are more premium, initially I thought that the neck was fatter on this one, even though I also ordered a 14-inch radius fingerboard and the thinner neck profile, but it just felt bigger. You have to take into account that the string action is different, and then you adjust it accordingly. You know, don't freak out. Just do your setup, and then, yeah. Which brings me to the setup. That really wasn't very well done at all. Last time it was perfect, I would say. It was just amazing right out of the box, but here the string action was fairly high, and I was not impressed. I set the string action and now it's incredible. It's actually a little higher than it could be, and I can still bend up a minor third on the G string with the floating tremolo, the recessed tremolo. So this is better than my Wilkinson, which can only bend up whole tone on the G string. So the trem is fantastic and the action is ridiculously low. That is simply an improvement over last time, but the setup, really, that wasn't the greatest job. So everything came out perfectly. The headstock, I mean, you know it from the unboxing, it's just phenomenal, and the woods and everything, just really sensational. So my overall rating, there's also this slightly, you know, the chrome, or the chrome is showing through a little bit, or silver, whatever it is, the metal. So the gold plating has peeled off, and that was from the get-go, I remember that. So tiny little details, you know, really subtle and insignificant really overall. So how would I rate this guitar out of 5 total? I would say 4.85. Yeah, definitely. It's an amazing instrument, and you're gonna hear it in a sec. I'm really happy with it, and I can highly recommend Kiesel. You know, it is sort of a risk because you do order like blindly. You don't know what it's going to look like, and even with this top, it was in a very raw state, you know, with all the holes, and it looked much brighter, of course. So it was really hard to imagine what it was going to look like all done. And I did do a Photoshop mock-up, and really do your research, take your time, and think about all the options. You know, do you want to go multi-scale without a trem? Do you want the trem, which I always recommend getting because it just adds so much more expressiveness? And what woods do I want? What are the tonal characteristics of the woods that I, you know, find visually appealing, and all those things. Pick up configurations, and that's another thing that I really don't like about Kiesel all that much, is that you just get the, you know, humbucker, single coil, inner coils, single coil, humbucker. So run of the mill, and you can't get a specific configuration right out of the gate. So that's a bummer, because I don't want the hum. I just hate the single coil hum. It's like, what the hell? So that's aggravating. But of course, if you have a relatively good luthier, or you know how to solder yourself and have some diagrams, you can easily take care of that yourself, to wire it in parallel and inner outer coils and all that jazz. So it's not that big a deal, but I wish that Kiesel did, do some alternate configurations for pickups. I understand that it would be way more work and probably increase the prices, of course, but that is a bummer. So Ibanez, has the correct configuration from the start, and that's a big plus. Of course, with Kiesel, you get everything you want. You get stainless steel frets, already standard. Whereas with, most of those guitars, they come at a really high cost, and it's just something else. So overall, value for money is amazing, and maybe the next one will be simpler and just an 8-string with a trem, I don't know, but I can highly recommend Kiesel, and I would really say do your research, get any questions out of the way first, just call and ask. You can, if you're a foreigner like myself, you just buy some Skype credit and you can talk to them for years, essentially for very little money, and it's absolutely worth it and necessary. One more thing quickly regarding the customer service. So I ordered my guitar with the Purple Heart backplate cover. Alright, there goes the tremolo arm. It's not screwed in yet. So, and they forgot to include the regular ones, which I had specifically ordered along with the wooden ones. So of course I told them, and they had also forgotten to include the silicone gel package for the gig bag. So I just, hit them up, sent them an email, and they sent me the replacement covers or the missing items right away. It was here within a week or so. So just be friendly and respectful. Right? Customer service is really great. They do a wonderful job. It's just about your attitude as well, I think. So I had zero problems with that. Great customer service experience. And yeah, let's move on. Cheers.